Number one, we're going to multiply the multiples of 10. So let's look at the number one. So 10.5 times by 10, you can do 10.5 times by 10, and you may just write 0, 0, 0, and 1050 because you multiply 10 times by 5, right? So you are going to add it, and you're going to move a decimal how many times? Once. So you're going to move a decimal, and so the answer is going to be 105. Or you know that if you multiply by the multiples of 10, then you just move a decimal to the right by the number of 0. So we have 1 0 here, so you just move the decimal to the right. And how many zeros do you have? 2. So you can just move a decimal twice. So it's going to be 611. And how many times do we have? Do we need to move a decimal? 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And if you see the blank spot, and then you just add 0 and 0, so the answer is going to be 10500. Right, we're going to talk about, in this lesson, we're going to talk about scientific notation. Scientific notation. This is a different way of writing very large number, very large or very small numbers. So for example, let's say if I have 52,000, if I have this is a really big number, so I'm going to because if there are too many zeros, it could be confusing sometimes. So I'm going to show you how to write this number into a little bit simpler way. So the scientific notation looks like this. So we're going to write a number, any number from 1 to 10, but it cannot be 10. So it should be C should be greater than equal to 1. It can be 1, but it cannot be 10. So careful there. This should be not including 10. All right. So now, and I'm going to multiply by the multiples of 10. So this should be always, the next part should be always base of 10. So it's like 10 to the first power, or 10 to the second, or 10 to the 10th power. And it could be negative number too. It could be 10 to the negative first power, 10 to the negative second power, 10 to the negative 7th power. And those are the examples. So I need you to write next to it, next to the base of 10. All right. So, and the power, everyone see 10 to the nth power, this is a power. Those are the exponents. This must be an integer. So if you look at the number here, examples are 1, 2, 10 integers, -1, -2, -7. Or it could be 10 to the 0 power, because 0 is also integer. All right, so just so if you look at the examples here, so 5.2, this is this number is between 1. 5.2 is between 1 and 10, fine. And 8 is also between 1 and 10. And 4.391, it's also between 1 and 10. So, and if you look at the exponents, power 3, 9th power, -2nd. So they're all written in scientific notation. So we're good. Those are 3 examples. So now I'll show you how to change this big number into the scientific notation. So I need you to put this example on the top. All right. So now we need to choose a 2 number, which is between 1 and 10. So now let's look at the number like 5, and 52, it could be 520. So now we need to choose like the number in the first part. So if you choose 52, this is not between 1 and 10, right? So what's a number between 1 and 10? Like what number you can make with 5 and 2, or 5, 5, 2, all the zeros? So you can choose 5.2, right? 5.2 is between 1 and 10. So now I'm going to put a decimal here. But think about it. If I just put 5.2, this is not the number. This is not 52,000. So how can I make 52,000 from 5.2? How many zeros you need to multiply? How many zeros you need to multiply to 5.2? 1, 2, and 3, and 4. If you multiply by 10,000, so if you add 4 zeros, which is 4 zeros here, then you move a decimal to the right, like we practiced in the beginning, like in the do now. So if you do 1, 2, 3, 4, if you multiply by 10 to the fourth power, then you're going to get 52,000. If you're not sure, you may just move a decimal to double check. So let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, because you multiply by 4 zeros, right? 10 to the fourth power, which means you just move a decimal 4 times. 1, 2, 3. So there you go. It's exactly the number in the question. So this is how you do. You choose C. You need to choose C, right? So I chose 5.2 because 52,000 to write in the scientific notation, you cannot choose 52. So you have to put decimal 5.2. And then you need to think about how many times you need to move a decimal to the right to make a big number so that you can put 10 to the fourth power. So now if you move a decimal, it's going to be exact the number. So let me just go over some more examples so that you can practice. All right, so you always remember C times by 10 to the nth power. C should be, this number should be between 1 and 10. It cannot be more than 10. Okay, so now 17, does it work? 17, it doesn't work because it's not between 1 and 10. So what do you need? You need to put a decimal. So 1.7, that works. 1.7 is between 1 and 10. Okay. Now, how many numbers of zeros you need to multiply? What number you need to multiply to get this number? This is like 1,700,000. So what you can do is you need to think about n. You need to find n by counting the number of zeros, like number of times that you move a decimal to get to the, this part. So let's try to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. If you multiply by 10 to the 6th power, 10 to the 6th power, 10 to the 6th power, and you will get this number. So this is a scientific notation, and this is a standard notation. So let's just go back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because you multiply 10 to the 6th power, which means you have to move a decimal 6 times to the right. So I'm going to put a 0, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many zeros at the end? 5 zeros. How many zeros? 5 zeros. So we are good. So you better double check by this way. So now this is a scientific notation. We have C. What is C here? 1.7. What is N? N is 6. C is 1.7. So I need you to do next one by yourself. Once again, C times by 10 to the nth power. So now we are going to choose 80 or 8. It should be 8. So I'm going to put decimal here right behind 8. So it's going to be 8 times by 10 to the what power? How many times you need to move a decimal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if you multiply by 10 to the 8th power, then you will get this number into scientific notation. This is a scientific and this is a standard. So please copy it down.